Good night and welcome to Mindful Live 352. Yes, it's well along here. I am your co-host, Nathan Springer. Thank you for being here. It is currently the 23rd of February in the year of our Lord 2024 in the beautiful Twin Island paradise of Trinidad and Tobago, where it is said that we are a figment of someone's imagination, that we run parallel with reality. We do not run perpendicular because us and reality does not ever intersect. We never intersect with reality. We are not a real place, they say. So they say. But apparently to run this not a real place is a very difficult job that requires top dollar to be paid to the individuals that must run it. The individuals that must run it believe that they must receive a certain amount of money, and that has been creating a bit of furor lately. And I agree with many of the public servants. Now, for those of you who are familiar with many of my lives, I have some bones I tend to pick with the public service, and a lot of the public service sometimes you get the feeling like, you get the feeling like they aren't giving us their best. Sometimes you get that feeling, and when it comes to remuneration in the public service sense, you wonder what is a right amount to give people like that. But nonetheless, where I can agree with the public servants is if the government says that you can receive no more than 4% because that's all the government can give, then I don't see how the government could give themselves more than that self-same 4% too. That makes sense to me. As much as I may have my grouses with the public service, how are you at the top of the public service going to take more than the 4% you said is all that can be afforded? The best we can do is mashed potato and corn. The best we could do is 4%. Take it or leave it until it's us. And all of a sudden, those percentages open up. Kevon says years ago, the Jamaican government had to cut staff and salaries. The cabinet and PM took pay cuts too. I would presume very likely that had something to do with the fact that Jamaica has been within the clutches of the IMF for quite some time. Jackies asks a key question here. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to or can do about it? Neil Reese says, so what are we going to do about it? All right. What are we going to do about it? We're going to see what is being done about it to some extent by some people. Let's jump into this article right away. Over 1,000 port workers strike. Hello, Steady XP. Strike action by over 1,000 workers at the Port of Spain yesterday caused major disruptions. The action also caused gridlock traffic heading into the capital for more than 3 hours as trucks waiting to get onto the 5 p.m. sailing of the Cabo Star lined Ryson Road and at times blocked the entire westbound side of the major thoroughfare. Contacted on the action last evening, Seamen and Waterfront Workers Union President General Michael Anisette said there was a plethora of issues facing workers. He said one of the main concerns was management's decision to renege on a wage deal. He said while they signed off on a 12% increase with the Port of Spain management, the government is now refusing it. And he said lamented, in law, that is a legitimate agreement. When the port workers would have seen the kind of increases given by the Salary Review Commission to parliamentarians, that kind of raised anger because they were saying they don't respect us enough. We were there working hard and we are not being paid. Hey Ronnie, what's up? So this is part of what is being done. And to me, I could approve strike action like this. For me, here's the thing for me. Here's the thing for me. Ronnie, I sent that message to you on the Discord server. Here's the thing for me. Any group of workers who were negotiated with and told that 4% is the best the government can do, I find you all should reopen your negotiations. If the part of the issue about what we should and could do, part of the issue is that it isn't yet passed. We are not 100% certain what the government is going to do with the recommendation. This is just a recommendation that came from the Salaries Review Commission. We are not 100% certain if the government is going to take that recommendation. But if the government does seem like they're going to take that recommendation, we have to get authorized from TTPS to protest. I am not talking about protest. I never said anything about protest. I am saying you should reopen your wage negotiations. And it doesn't matter that a contract is signed. These things, people act like these things are God implemented. Like God came down himself and pinned someone into a contract. All of these things are in flux. This is how unions were created in the first place. This was the job of unions in the first place. Unions recognized that those in power were advantaging the workers, but yet the workers had the numbers. So the workers had the numbers to shut down entire economies. And that's how they got into negotiation. Good evening, Dane Can. So what is stopping them from taking it? Nothing. Well, I don't understand what you mean. Stopping who from taking what? More, we shouldn't take that just so. Correct. Do you see the government rejecting that wage increase? I can see the government rejecting that wage increase. But as I've said before, if they do reject the wage increase, to me, I would look at this like it was all a smokescreen. And I would get even more suspicious. Because I would find it curious that they allowed this to be raised at this point in time while having no interest in taking the raise. That would be very curious to me. But I will not be surprised if they don't take it. If they don't take it, that may actually, to me, that would be the smarter political move. So something like this is, to me, great, Ronnie. Something like this is, to me, a warning to the government. This is something like a warning to the government. This shows the power that the workers and the unions have. That, listen, if you continue in the direction you are headed in, and you want to cream off all of the best for yourself and allow us to continue working while not giving us compensation for such, we have the ability to stop this. Shady Bads says, why is the PNM pushing this no US dollar shortage? Nowhere in the world has a shortage of US. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The government says there's a shortage. They said there's a limited amount for you to get, because it's not about whether the US has printed enough. It's how much we have that can be dispensed, and we get it in limited ways. It's not like the US just, ships out plane loads of the dollars for us out of the goodness of their heart. Kirvan says, honestly, we should be reducing the wage bill. It is an insult to the public for the SRC to recommend an increase. The Salary Reviews Commission doesn't compromise of Trinidadians that are fighting to pay bills. And here's something that I was say, can contract workers strike? Listen, positive radiation. The question you might be asking there is, can contract workers legally strike? But anyone can strike. They said police couldn't strike, and yet still we received a day of full policing. So, total policing. So, we know everyone could strike. It's short for the average citizen, not for the elite. While the average government worker can't even afford a good house. Here's the thing. To me, I was wondering this. Why is there a salary review commission for the government, but not one for all the tiers of workers? If this salary review commission have expertise at knowing exactly what someone's job is worth, shouldn't the salary review commission be in charge of selecting the wage for all of the workers? I like this. It always makes me curious. How come you have a review commission to select for there, but there's no review commission for the others? Why is that? Why can't everyone have a salary review commission? So, you know, we have people with expertise in the field to review and find out exactly how much your job is worth. If you want that privilege, then get a government job. Well, that's the thing. There are other people with government jobs too that don't have the benefit of a salaries review commission selecting their salary. That's the only way government workers get large sums of money, bribes and corruption, not salary. No. They have some large salaries here in Trinidad, eh? Thanks, man, Shady Bad. When you do that, then they actually have to work. Really. It would be interesting. While salaries flying up all sides, $1 pay rise for allied security officers. Security officers at Allied Security Limited are angry after the company offered them a $1 increase. Speaking with Guardian Media earlier this month, employees said the last wage increase they received was in 2011. The workers said the company's latest offer is to increase their salaries by $1 without giving them back pay. You have security guards in a violent country getting $1 increase from minimum wage, I believe is where the salary was. Yet we have the government looking to jump up to 80,000. Kevin says, I think the government should be paid well. In fact, I think it should be a very attractive salary. But this is absurd. I am not 100% certain on that. I don't know for sure, and I mean there are many things I don't know for sure. But this is one of the things I am not 100% certain which way I would lean. Like, I understand paying a good salary is one of the ways you attract better talent to the job, but I am not sure if we want that kind of person as political leader, or if you want someone who is much more doing it for civil duty kind of business. And then for me, the attraction of the salary, I think all salaries should be based on your performance. The government pays the SRC alley. You ask us if you don't know. Most of the government officials already come from wealth, though, fact. But that doesn't mean they don't want to get wealthier. That has never stopped someone before. But yeah, here's the thing. Do you think if you had the role of Prime Minister of the country as $0 pay, that no one would do the job? I think even if you had the role at $0 pay, you would still find people wanting to do the job. They will do it for power. They do it for power right now. So yeah, they will. That's what they do it for right now too. Isn't it? And here's the thing. And this is the idea I'm seeing here. This is the idea I'm seeing. For me, if I'm a businessman There's value in my country running smoothly because I will make money through my business. I don't need the government to give me money if the country is managed in such a way that allows my business to be successful. So there is reward for me in getting good management for the country, whether or not the person gets salaried. So, like, that's one of the predicaments I wonder about when we talk about, they deserve a good salary or they should be paid a good salary. And what is a good salary? What is the relative to that? What is the relative to a good salary? Why not the average salary of the nation? Or even, let's say, the 75th percentile average salary. So you're at the bottom of the top quarter of salaries of the country, and that's your salary. It's a fluctuating salary dependent on how well other people in the country do, how well the country itself does. Because how does it make sense that someone could crash the economy of a country and then get a raise? Like, what are we rewarding there? How are we telling people that when they go there, they should do a good job if we do things like that? You're telling people the only punishment there is in politics is being voted out. And the only way that could happen really and truly is if you fall out with your main party. Like, Mr. Imbert has no worry about being voted out. As long as he remains good with the PNM, they'll keep him in a safe seat, and he doesn't have a care in the world. So he could fail day in, day out, week in, week out, and there's nothing that can be done about that. And then we give them a pay increase. How does that make sense, someone? And on the thought of raising money for the government, if ever anyone wondered how could we raise some more money for the government, there was a joint select committee that raised some ideas. GSC proposes tax on artists performing abroad mass materials. Consideration is being given to taxing local artists who perform abroad, as well as materials imported into Trinidad and Tobago for carnival designs. The recommendation was made by a member of the United National Congress during a joint select committee on cultural diplomacy yesterday. You wonder if these people pass maths. You could wonder sometimes. You can really wonder sometimes. Ah. The GSC, chaired by Minister of Trade and Industry Paula Gopi-Schoon, sought to inquire into the efficacy of TNT's cultural diplomacy and opportunities for strengthening its cultural and tourism products. Gopi-Schoon lamented the failure of the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts to streamline and formalize culture as a business. Rodney Charles, the UNC's MP for Naparima, proposed a potential solution to generate revenue through the taxation of chutney, soca and calypso artists who perform across the region and wider world. He suggested consulting a tertiary level academic institution such as the University of Trinidad and Tobago to determine a range of possibilities that could benefit the Board of Inland Revenue. the little money people making, they want to take it to pay public servants. It is biscuit tin kind of thinking. Yeah, you get that feeling. You're trying to strip these artists. And I mean, okay, there are some big artists that rake in really big money, but many of these artists are beating the festivals up and down, barely sleeping, and you want to rake in some of that just, you know, to pay a few more public service bills. Do you all think entrepreneurs or self-employed people should be exempt from taxes? I kind of have a taxation is theft kind of view going on a bit. I understand taxes. I understand why we do taxes. But taxes on a wide basis, I really don't like them like that. I think the more we tax, the stupider our governments get, because they get more money to do stupid things with. The less money they have, I actually think the better they function. They need to have less. So that's my view on the taxes business. But the thing with entrepreneurs and self-employed people, if you're talking about in a system where there already are taxes, you don't want to leave out entrepreneurs and self-employed people if you are taxing the others. If you're already taxing other people, it doesn't make sense to leave out the entrepreneurs. It's only taxation with no representation. You see, the problem is I don't think these people represent me, so it's already that. Here, USA, we pay taxes on everything. I guess it might be according to what state you're in. Maybe you're in New York or California, where there are taxes on everything. And that's one of the interesting things with the United States and their model of experiments, as it were, 51 experiments, where you have the different states and they have different tax levels on the different states and all of that interesting stuff. I feel the same, but how do you make it fair in terms of using public services? And you see, that's the thing. That's the thing with taxes that people would have to understand. If you want there to be less taxes, you have to be okay with there being less public services. But we as a country have been trained, and we are very accustomed to a wide range of public services. We believe that as a country, there are a wide range of things that the government's supposed to take care of. The government's supposed to have a daycare for your child. The government's supposed to have a preschool for your child, ECCE. The government's supposed to have a primary school. The government's supposed to have a secondary school. In other words, the government's supposed to take care of and educate my child all the way up to 23, somewhere there. The government's supposed to feed them when they take them in school with breakfasts and lunch. The government's supposed to find a job for them after they finish school. The government's supposed to figure out how they would be useful to the society. The government's supposed to bury them when they die. The government's supposed to see about them when they're sick. The government's supposed to pay them when they get old. The government's supposed to do everything. We have that idea of so many social services. Thank you for your remembrance, Cardell. But you have to understand, if you have the view that these people are wasteful, as they are, and you want to give them less, you have to expect less too. Yes, you could get the social service of free tertiary education, but in the process, you're losing probably billions of dollars from the country's purse due to wastage and theft. Or you could try to leave those leaked dollars in the economy and pay your own way. Visited a primary school once, a mother wearing plenty gold was complaining that the breakfast didn't arrive yet. Normal stuff. Normal stuff. God bless TNTS. Yeah, the purpose of government, I think, is for the well-being of its citizen. If not, we don't need government. You see that discussion where you're getting to the purpose of the state? What is the reason for the state, for the government? the well-being of its citizens, correct. But well-being is a very general, vague word. When you say well-being, what do you mean? Does the government get to say that you must take a vaccine even if they develop the vaccine in 6 months and it seems a bit risky? Because the government gets to determine your well-being? Because that gets sketchy. How about in Canada? Does the government get to determine that, okay, we cannot treat you for this illness, you are in severe pain, so for your well-being, the best recommendation is mead, medical assistance in dying. So do they get to then decide that they should kill you for your own well-being? Well-being is a kind of tricky word. Not that I disagree with you. Yes, that is the point of the government. That's what the government is supposed to be doing. But how wide of a net do we cast for this well-being? And here's the thing. The idea that many people who kick against government and the extra power of governance have is that society is supposed to have alternative institutions to do those things. You do not need the government to educate your child. You could have other independent educational institutions crafted by the society. You do not need the government to dictate your sexual morality. Religious institutions can do that. You do not need the government to be your daddy. You are supposed to have a daddy of your own. And that's the idea. The idea many people have is that the government is supposed to replace all of those things. And that is leftism. That is Marxist theory. That is socialism for a large part. That the government is supposed to, but you know, I now see in the box there, bro, that the government is supposed to take care of all of those things. And that's why whenever you see Marxist theory, they fight against the family. Because a family is going to undo the government's ability to see about your every need. You will look to your family. Marxists, they take down religion. Why? Religion is going to work against the government's ability to take care of your every need. You have one singular, unipolar, central organizing entity in your society, and it's the state. I don't want that. I rather we separate those things. You see, people often talk about the separation of church and state, and they talk about that when a religious person attempts to do some influence on morality in the public sphere. But somehow they never talk about that when the state keeps, for decades now, expanding itself to now encompass and encroach on territory that was once controlled by religious organizations, the church. So how come this separation of church and state only goes one way? Very strange fireworks. Not my business.
This is interesting because I really wanted to jump in yesterday and talk about it specifically because that's the, I really wanted to jump in yesterday about a specific thing because conversation when with a black in America, California, but um, yeah, and she had some interesting thoughts about government centralized factor. And I find, I was to give she tips on having a centralized government, a government controlling particular things, right? She finds have free education and free health. And I'm like, okay, yes, we do. But these particular things doesn't mean it should be well, governed well, or being managed well, or people's money is being managed well in specific areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not. And I think, and I tell you, this is why I have a problem think, saying, so what they think about it's running certain states. Federal government tends to operate anyway. Yes, you will get taxed on everything in America. That's only because the federal government still a central government per se, and they have social programs and they have social things. Because I don't think people quite understand that our government is a very social thing. It's a very socialist type thing. Saying it's just an extreme socialist type thing. You know? So they expect to be able to expect your act and we still have specific type of thing. Many people that they privatize, do a fully privatized healthcare system that are fully privatized. But they would complain about the fact that, we being here to have a 40K a month salary. They would talk about the fact that the Prime Minister of Jamaica could increase everybody's salary of the emotional pain of COVID, the emotional turmoil of COVID. We was helping the citizens of the country during COVID, so we did raise our
Trini, what's up? You're breaking up a little bit there, bro.
serious. But yeah, so that's just it, right? Can't complain about taxes and then social programs and service that covers you. It really makes sense.
I recognize that many people get lost in that it's a trade-off kind of thing. Okay. If you want a daddy, like, I don't know how many of you still live with your parents and your parents still have a say over your life. I don't know all of your ages. But if you are old, try to remember what it was like to have your father, and if you had a father in the home, to have your father there. And okay, yes, he is giving you money, but he also is giving you instructions, and he gets to dictate when you go, where you go, how you go, and all of that. And that's the kind of trade-off you get. Okay, you could go and rent and pay for your own accommodation, and then you determine when and where you go and how you go. That's how it is. So if you want that daddy government thing, understand that the trade-off is always going to be the government is going to hold more power. That's just how it is. That's just how it works. The government is going to hold more power, and you may get a few good things in return, but you have to decide, is that trade-off worth it? And where does it end to? How much power would be enough power for the government to have? Because I could tell you, like, I don't think there's a government in the world that believes they have enough money to do all the things they want to do. You understand what I mean? There's no government out there that says, all right, we're spending just enough that we need. We don't need to spend anymore. Every government seems like they believe all we need is a couple more $1 billion and we'll have it good. Or a couple more billion, or in the case of the United States, trillion, and we'll have it perfect. It seems like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, saying because you see, I could to go millions of people, it's kind of an interesting thing for a small minority of people to do. You know what I'm saying? So it could seem that, you know, government could need extra funds anytime to do specific things. This is what I'm saying. That's what governments kind of are. You know what I'm saying? To have what? If you been elected by nation of
That siren is not by me yet.
Yeah, that me. So yeah, so yeah. If you governing a people of 350 million people, and they elect you, and you elect a parliament of 18 people, as 18 people trying to govern the affairs of 330 million people. So I could understand span 350 million. That's what they say. So I could kind of understand what the never necessarily have enough money to handle the affairs of 3 million people from the perspective of minority. We are.
That's true. That is true. I still support Venezuela's socialist ideas, just needed an infinite money glitch. Well, you know, that's just how it works. If you had infinite money, it would work beautifully. But no one has infinite money. And I don't foresee at any point in time in the near upcoming future that there would be anywhere with that infinite money cheat code. Unfortunately. That's just the reality that we dwell in. Maybe it might work in Trinidad and Tobago because remember, we are not a real place. So maybe things that wouldn't work in reality might work here. But so in reality, socialism never works. It never does. You run out of other people's money. It always ends up like that. It's a hard buy in that way. Ronnie, you know, thinking about the piece of bacchanal you touch us with on the end last night. Mismanagement is the problem we have, and bandits, I think that's the problem for nearly everyone. That's the problem for nearly anyone. Some individuals have more than an entire country. That's almost infinite. Yeah. Part of the problem that you're talking about, where, for those of you who weren't here, you know, it was a story about some guy, they're talking for a while and getting along, and then the guy, you find out, no, your friend finds out the guy, no, that was you, invited to a camp or something like that, and the guy has a wife. The long and short of the story, the guy has a wife and is trying to, you know, proposition you. Here's a story that many people have been beating like an old snake for the last couple months. All over you hear this story in different form, one form or the other being spoken about. 45% of women are expected to be single and childless by 2030 per recent projection. 45% of women to be single and childless by 2030. And that is a very strange thing for human culture. And here is how that creates some difficult stuff. We no longer have arranged marriages. Now, arranged marriages allowed for an interesting thing. Arranged marriages was one way to kind of not assure, but allow some parity in the coupling off. You know, we have, by and large, when a human being becomes pregnant, there's a 50-50 chance of a boy or a girl. So by and large, most societies have around a 50% number of males to females. By and large, barring some other kind of gerrymandering. So what arranged marriages would have done for societies in time immemorial is that
they arrange the marriage, and that way nearly everyone is paired off. No one is left out in the wilderness without a pair. Now, when you don't have arranged marriages, you get some interesting things happening because women are extremely sexually selective. What that means is the Yas Queen Slay Bay talk about don't settle, sis isn't something strange to women. It is how women's psyche generally, and I'm speaking in generalities here, so don't crucify me on some specific instance. They are much more selective. If you leave it up to women alone, by and large, to select, they select a very rare group. And most women select the very same rare group. Which ends up with lots of sharing. This has been the direction society has been going in for a while now. And as women get older while remaining single and being wealthier, I think this kind of happening would be much more regular, because for a 33-year-old working woman who has her own nearly everything, but she is single, childless out there, who does she have as a possible prospect? They will look at her as an idiot if she goes with some homeless bum or some unemployed guy. She's looking for a man who's doing something with his life. She wants him kind of attractive too.
As she should.
As she should. Nothing is wrong with that. I didn't say anything is wrong with that. At no point I said about wrong or right or should or shouldn't. I didn't bring that in. That's what she's doing. She's looking for that. But if you select for attractive, industrious, relatively well off, sensible men over 35, you're basically looking for husbands. And as you get older and richer, that group actually shrinks to fewer and fewer of other women's husbands. So it's either a high possibility that you got to be okay with sharing or okay with settling.
But Nathan, how much you could really settle? Tell me that. Good night, everybody. I'm sorry, I have no manners. How much you could really settle? I mean, okay, let me say you take a look so for the table. You say, you know what? But she's strong. You know, my children could fight up with the self. They will just have to have plenty personalities. I will take looks off of the table. I also now have to take your financial situation off the table too.
Not necessarily, not necessarily.
I have to take your job off the table too. I have to take your social standing in society off the table. Come on, how much things I really have to take? So when
You know what you were supposed to do? You were supposed to ask daddy to go and find somebody who have the right things on the table and bring him home. Go back to the arranged marriage. Because the problem seems obvious here. What they are saying, what articles like this, the one I just read, the study I just went into, what that study is saying is that women are unable to pick partners because it is a woman picking system we have in the present dating market. And women are picking who they date while the men pick who they marry. And men are marrying fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer. So women are horrible at the picking business. And for goodness sakes, they will hold on to that ability and independence. I will pick my rubbish man to the last.
That's not necessarily the case. My father, this man, right? My father was like, hey, like this man is a good man. I'm not saying that my father is not a good judge of character. I mean, so I became man, but the man was younger than me. I don't know why I'm destined for me to be some young man. He's younger than me. His employment status was a shaky. I don't know.
Wait. No. You see why you always end up in trouble? You see why you always those two things you said as something being wrong with the man ain't really anything wrong in it. People age and people could get better at their job. If he's young, it's kind of expected that his employment situation isn't going to be all perfect. And you see, that is the problem. The problem is when women say things like the choice is slim or the dating pool have piss in it or oil, as the case might be in Tobago, what they're saying is that the pool I want to select from is horrible. There's actually a whole other massive pool with all of the awkward, weird, socially anxious guys, and they're there in their oversized trunks, kind of just bopping around and looking at each other and raising their shoulders awkwardly because none of you all see them. And you all keep in the dirty pool with the oil in it, looking for all the fishes in there. Well, all the fishes in there, if there's still a fish in that dirty pool, and obviously it's a dirty fish, all the good fish is already taken. So if you find a good fish, it taken. If you find a fish and it looking like a good fish living in that dirty pool, it just looking so. Go in the other pool. Listen. In school, think back to school days. If any of you all went to co-ed school or limed a lot with co-ed groups. If you're in a co-ed group where there's half and half male to females, do all of the males find somebody who once crushed on them? That does not happen. There are some of those fellas from school days, they went through 7 years of school, went all the lessons in the land, and not one girl ever had a crush on them. They don't know what crush means, except for the feeling when they mash your heart. And then these girls would go out there and say, they aren't fellas anyway. Listen, it's 50-50 by and large. They are fellas.
I just find it, Nathan, like, yo, I be on Clubhouse and I be talking to black people from America and their relationship problems. And I listen, I want to know, where's this posterity, this false posterity, this aristocratic type of behavior. You all people have been average for the entirety of your history. You could straight back to Africa. People had this wealth, this nobility started and grab nonsense talk. Why you can't get with
We was kings, bro.
we was I feel like I have somebody. This boy was still in school, like not like secondary school, he was in university, right? And yeah, he's on school now.
Are listening?
He was still in school, and then the thing about it is he wasn't interested in me either. So to say like he went to my father like, hey, you know, and like say, accept my like it was that.
RL use kicks, yes? RL, stop that. Stop that. RL said, you feel we had things there? Why you think they sold us?
But I just find women today just so I love the fact that you all have freedom, that part of civility, because part of
Yeah.
So when women can't want to know saying that, oh, can you date it? And all your sexual revolutions and feminist thought. That's what you get for total of get to deep inside the woods nonsense. Because that's what it is. It is.
Ronnie, somebody says they want to hear your requirements and we will see the problem. And I could kind of agree. You see, here so far the problems you state. Wait, I will give you a chance to say. But here so far the problems you state with somebody that was proposed to. He too young. He in school. By in school you mean university. His employment shaky. If the boy in university, of course his employment shaky. You expect him to have a full-time job already, Ronnie? Oh gosh, loudy youth. And then you don't know if he like you that much. Listen, people didn't like each other till a decade into the arranged marriage, and it still lasted 60 years, and you still are a reproduced offspring of that generations later. About like and like and like and like. Come on, man. Go ahead, state your list, though.
Okay, I'll wait up. I told you say sanity. Sorry, I'll answer it up. Let me see. No, I don't know. Sorry, Christian, go ahead. Him now, Christian, I get in. I come in all late. Go ahead. I just want you to know, Ronnie's world. I met my wife. I was still at the University of the West Indies.
Me too.
And she was working. And now, in our 3-bedroom house that I paid for, you know? So, you might, sleep out there, you know? Fun.
Bro, Gush, you know.
And she is older than I.
Yeah. Yeah, Reeve, you come late for the news. But this is news, eh? The news is that women are becoming old maidens. Old maids. We have a generation of old maids growing up. Listen, you know how many women out there, if you sit with them and go through their history, sit with a single 30-year-old, a single millennial, and go through their history, as a man, especially as a man, you would be able to say, that one, or you miss one there, and one there, and one there. You all missing.
What about that fella who used to be doing all them errands for you all the time? Anytime you need something, he was there.
They missing. They slipping out here.
He gone and married somebody else.
Right. Yeah, positive.
I want to jump in the steady fire here a little bit. And this little mischievous till today's Friday, right? I recently met a young lady. Surprised when she told me her age at 31. I wonder what your operations. I would swear she's 26, 27. In terms of the operations now. Take care of herself and so on. Then I'm around, she would tell you she like older men, 40, 50, 60 plus, and they're like, making any sense. By being in conversation, begin to realize where the problem lies. You see, they want everything made, ready made, they want house built already, they must be financially stable, they want all the nice.
Just move in.
Well, take on for it too. That's just the thing. If you're looking for that kind of level, that's what those red pill guys keep saying. If you're looking for that kind of level, well, you will get the result of that. You will get the reward of that. Huh?
You will build with our man and still get one.
You see, that kind. Wait. How you know that?
Because you see it happens.
You see it happens as in the majority of women who built with their men, the man steps out on them. So then why is that even a thought in your head? It's like, okay, I want to start building my house, but you know how much people is build a house and reach the decking and then they can't build no more. So
Anyway,
what kind?
that's all it is there.
No, Ronnie. You see, and this is the strange thing to me.
These women are walking into old age with their hands swinging, nobody to hold their hand. And when people giving them the advice, because clearly what you're doing isn't working, people are giving you the advice, and no, all you don't know all you're talking about. I know I talking. No, you don't.
I never said I did. I am very, very, very aware that I am not right. But that's one good thing about me. I've never accepted or been a part of the whole feminist and sexual liberation and all these things. I am very much, to myself, come around. I don't really have much men to see pinpoint like, well, it's one day and you miss one day. Really and truly, you can't find that.
You miss the youth man. You miss the youth man.
Could that be married or no?
Jackie's somebody needs to come down. We could only four could fit.
You could take me down. You could take me down. I just wanted to share that little, anecdote with Miss Rooney. I feel it's the next problem.
You have to come down, Gush. You have to exit there.
So my requirements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how come? Okay, yeah.
What is my requirements? I would prefer somebody who's like-minded in terms of like religious wise. I would like somebody who follows the Bible, not necessarily to be the same religion per se, but Bible, even a Muslim actually. I really like a Muslim. So that is one. Religion is important to me. Two,
So you'll be one of four?
this one, probably this one. Probably. But like the other don't very multiple because it's hard to maintain.
That's true.
Right? If it's a true Muslim, you wouldn't do that. Because you can't bring a second woman to live in your house. Next thing, well, I needed to at least have a job on the horizon now. Like a decent job. It's very important because, can't eat love. I'm sorry. A job is important.
I really used to be saying some ridiculous things in a bro.
A job? Come on. Let's tell me that. I am saying physical. Me and when we 6'6", we 6 foot 6 inches, and we get 6 figures. Even like that. I don't want these things. You don't have to be making huge amounts of money, but you have to be making some money. Come on. If you're not making no money, then you shouldn't be in for money. Shouldn't be in for no money.
So
You have no don't
I'm just asking. Where's the money making man supposed to?
I think if you have if you're making some
What
level,
depends on the venues these days?
go and do that. Nothing
Hiana, listen. Hear the thing.
Temporary situation, go and do that. Like, think about it, right? Get no kind of money. Like, you literally have not a problem. That job, you like we just say that, you like odds and ends. That is what you're doing. And the first thing you must think, having a stable relationship with some girl, that is a crime. that should be against the law. Because when you're going to entertain this girl, get this girl pregnant, you can't even maintain yourself.
Here's the thing, just now, Ronnie, I agree with you. I think it's according to a kind of stages kind of thing. I mean, if you're 19 and in university, I don't see a problem with you looking for a girlfriend, a woman, and
University as well, no problem.
and you're not working. Even if she's out of university, nothing is wrong with that to me. I don't see a problem with that. And you see, that's the thing. So many women like to glorify building together, but when they think about building together, they're thinking Jay-Z, and Jay-Z coming to them with $100 million and saying, come and be my business manager of my $100 million and we'll build $100 million to $1 billion. You're having a Tyler Perry movie fantasy about building together. Building together is actually building together. Like, go talk to some of those old couples who married and together built the mud hut and repaid the ground. That's the kind of thing is building together. So if you're interested in building together, that's what that is. And on the work side of that, obviously if someone isn't doing something else and they're not working, then the person is a bum. They're indisciplined. That's not a good person to try and choose as a partner. Obviously, that's not a good person. However, there's actually a massive contingent of men that have stable jobs and no stable significant other. That's actually quite common. There are many working men out there. Go through the stores, walk in the business places, and see how many of those guys that are just there working and have no one.
Maybe stores, like what stores you talking about?
Random stores. Walk in a random store, see a guy and ask him, do you have a girlfriend? And you see, here's the thing that some girls don't understand. You know, that's kind of how fellas do it, you know. A fella would walk in a random food place, see a girl and, hey, this girl look nice. Hey, what's going on? I could get in a mouth.
Would that be men are like that? If a woman did that?
Yes, because of movement.
Nah, I don't like that.
No. I'm not saying to do that as a pickup. Ronnie, I wasn't saying to do that as a pickup. I was just saying as you could find out like that. But I don't know how many men would really. You have to be good to do that. And I notice many women don't have riz. Many women, they don't have it. And you could do that and genuinely get the guy laughing, drops his guard, and you're GT. But not many women are very capable of that. Jackie says, well, I feel I got the dregs of men. Yeah, Hotep.
Yeah, see, this is the thing, man. I never truly understand. Again, it really goes to the thing. When you have jumping cars, talking, if the man makes 50K, he should not be dating because he needs to make 100 plus because, you know, that could just happen out of the blue. Trees, he goes on trees up. Get the tree and pay for, and say, pay for booking back. It works like that. And that's a crazy function. That men are becoming single and ever. See, women are single. Relationship kind of fade because very minute at this point. To think that regular women can get rid of men when that has been majority of society and history of the entire world is seen a ridiculous function because that is what you see, and it's always posterity about, well, you're going to raise me and my children, or you're going to put me in the environment, you know, that thrive and prosper. Like, I look at you talk, how average money can link makes average to further your posterity and and then they jump on about when man's supposed to provide 100%, and I'm like, listen, again, aristocrat, hey, no, it's not the aristocracy. Men who had this kind of to play could have provided 100%. Think children, show me any society of time period home doing nothing.
That's the thing. You see, many people, I think, lack imagination and innovation. There are many things you could do while taking care of your child that works and adds to the family. And that's what women did since time. It's not that women didn't work. It's not that you stay home and watch soap operas all day and feed a child here and there. That's not how the thing goes. Jackie says, but sometimes we are misled. To be honest, men really don't have the best track record. That's the top 10% of men who don't have the best track record. The track record of the vast majority of men is once they are married, they aren't the ones to leave. By and large, men and women cheat in about the same amount
at about the same amount of frequency, who do you think the men are cheating with?
But I'm cheating with man. Just to be honest.
Relax with that, Ronnie. You always with the extreme in the thing, eh? But that's the thing. That's the thing. Many women give themselves a kind of fear on this, and the reality is, many of the men they select. Let's look at this obvious truth. Women find men more unattractive than men find women. In other words, you ask a woman, look at a class, look at a group full of men, 50 men there, how many of them do you find attractive? They might say one. You ask a man, look at a group of 50 women, how many of them you find attractive? According to which man you get it, they might say all. So, the attraction is biased. It's not a one-for-one kind of ratio. Yet, women complain that the men they get always seem to keep getting other women. So then, you are with one of the men in the kind of exclusive category that is actually capable of attracting a large amount of women. Because the reality is, the vast majority of men are not able to juggle 3 women, you know. That's not what most average men are doing. Most average men, ooh, I got to say something that was really crass there, but let's water it down. They are juggling themselves watching videos. That's all the juggling they could do. Many of those average men. So, if you have a man that your problem with your man is always he horning you, then you have a top man.
It's so sad. It's not even. If that's the top man.
You see, here's what happens, Ronnie. Here's what happens. A woman would go pick up some tall, athletic man who has one little awkwardness about him. You know you saw him and was attracted to him. You know he was driving the Hilux with the nice tint and the cool AC. You know that, and you get accustomed to him now and like, my boyfriend not nice. What you talking about? Nobody do like it. You lying to yourself. Because that is what many women are attracted to. Okay, you see the man is bald now and has a pot belly. But the hair and the abs isn't what attracts women to that man. Maybe it's his X5 and his ability to carry you wherever you want to go on the drop of a dime. And you could pretend like you don't understand that's attractive to other people, but obviously it is. It obviously is. The reality is most men are not attractive to the majority of women. So if you have a man that is attracting lots of other women, obviously you already chose a man that is pretty much up there. I never said that, Jackies. I never said you're supposed to be okay with infidelity. Yeah, positive.
Some reality into the scenario, right? So we cannot value and bring in and add into the picture. If, as we were discussing salaries earlier and salary increases, if you that is earning similar amount, remember, contract and permanent employees or permanent employment is kind of challenging in this space now. So you might get a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year contract that looks good, 4,000, 5,000 salary. Really, someone could come to change that and change that very quickly. What will happen after? So even if that is so, job stability is so top priority in our current force or labor force climate, we see what COVID did. And there's possibilities that is employment status could change and change up. It could be on a 2-year contract now, $20,000-$40,000. Something could happen and that could change in this split second. So why should we have stable employment held so high when we have so many variables that could apply on a basis? Because I don't think a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old average in Trinidad and Tobago is $30,000-$40,000 just for
No.
So by the time you get to that age, acquire that kind of money, done clocking 35 plus going up the road. It's my average estimation. So if you look at the age, and we add the age now with the economic climate and the economic structure in the country now, so what $100 could buy back in the days when any of them used to get man at 19, 20, married at 19, and live happily ever after. The chances where we do not know kind of unrealistic though. Just looking at it to add up exactly how it's set in. So if you want to have a child now, you can be rushing when you get married at 35, 36 years. It's a rush to have a child before 40 and you automatically put yourself in the market of high risk pregnancy. Looking at you know, it's not frustrated man and woman, frustrated relationship.
And I think some of that comes from consumerism because we believe that we must have our Samsung two-door fridge and 6-burner stove and fully tiled house and cabinets and all of that. All of that must be there. You must have all of those things, and it puts a kind of pressure on what is just a partnership. It's just a partnership. Two people could be married and living in the bush. It's just a partnership. That's all it really is. A wedding isn't necessary for a marriage. Marriage certificates aren't necessary for a marriage, as people were discussing going up the road there. And Jackie's the whether you should take infidelity, that's not at all what I'm saying, and I'm not in agreement with some of those men in the manosphere that propagate infidelity as a positive thing nearly, and all high status men will not be faithful, and I don't agree with that. And I think a way to truly be high status as a man is to actually hold yourself in discipline and be faithful. I do believe that. However, we are talking about possibilities here. We are talking about on the likelihood of possibilities. So it's not that you have to be okay with infidelity. I'm not saying that, but you have to understand that if you go with someone who is more attractive to a wider group of people, the possibilities of infidelity increases. That's just the reality.
You a question. Somebody here to say, what is the current? My requirements, only laugh at my requirements, and all it was like,
I didn't laugh at your requirement.
What's the requirements in time? Because, listen, I don't find even any close to what my father to have. You understand me?
But wait. Your father had a real person he wanted you to have.
Good.
So for you to bring your father back in this, saying that you expect what he wants for you to be so much superior, then you were supposed to tell your father, yes, daddy, okay, set it up.
Okay, I will tell that to set up a date for me.
You know, I wouldn't doubt some of your women, some of your girls might be shocked. Some of the girls and women might be shocked. You ask your father to set up a date, and your father might actually have a list of nice gentlemen. I meet this young fella down the road, and you might be shocked. You might be shocked. And Mini Mindful is very far from there. But if we're talking about a list for some young lady who may be looking for a significant other, the part where you spoke about cohesive religious view, I think that is actually key. I know many people marry varying in that kind of stuff, but like, I'm in an interracial marriage. That's less than intercultural in terms of even religion too. So there are differences that are very difficult to negotiate in a lifelong commitment. If I think that by you doing what you think you need to do to reach heaven, you're going to go to hell, how are we going to mesh together every day of our lives? That's a kind of difficult thing. So there's that. To me, part of the two main things in looking for what the person is going to earn, how they're going to provide, it's not necessarily their money or their job. It's their general intelligence and their discipline. I don't blame a woman for not wanting a dummy.
Obviously, you want a smart person, preferably smarter than you. That could sound weird. That could sound weird, but yeah. Smart, healthy, disciplined. You see those three? The money is going to come. If somebody is smart, healthy, and disciplined, the money is going to come.
But you are talking about potential. I can tell you 21st century, 2024. Be careful, potential. No, I can't tell you. You see, even dogs are great. Okay, I'm saying, how we can tell the good romantic potential. It's the good stuff yet. Do one has better. Can't tell the woman to rest in family. To care only potential. What we say? Come disagree. And this is talking because they think because the track mindedness of the society, everything has to be funneled through a particular means. So men must get jobs, and the jobs must streamline into secure possible thing because men can't work in any other possibly any other way because the man must sit down in a mechanic shop. That's it. Script lines of society kind of particular thing.
Jackie says potential is attractive though, and it is. But here's the thing. And it gets you hurt too. I was gonna say that, Ronnie, because girls, generally are not the best judges of potential. Young girls could watch a drug dealer and see potential. That's why the person who generally looked for potential was the 40, 50-year-old man who has your best interest at heart and wants to see some grandchildren. He would look at that man and he is looking with genuine eyes for potential. The woman is looking at the man and she's looking at the pipe dream potential. After he sit down and he burn one, he sit down and he tells you all he dreams. Girl, I gonna open a mini mart a day. Them fellas think them know to run this thing. When you see I open my thing, and you know them dice are real money in it. When you see I open that right on the corner there, I don't know. I gonna be selling plantain, I selling veggies, snacks, everything, and I might open a little restaurant next day too, girl. And the girl like, for real? For real? Clown. You go and tell her father that. And he's looking for what I said. Is this boy smart? Is this boy disciplined? And he's looking at that and he knows, okay, well, you have no discipline. You're kind of not too smart. This isn't going to work. The potential is talk.
Right? So, if you are to select son, we're talking hypothetical. You have a son, and features or what skills you advise him to look for in a female?
That's question for
You.
Question is for his woman.
I will tell him to look for a woman. I don't have any children, right? And I will be really necessarily telling and they should look in as I always tell my friends do I advise them to stay away. Firstly, stay away from feminists. Secondly, stay away from aggressive women. Tend to get you in trouble. Like I'm more happy a list of things you should stay away from and a list of things that you should look. I would be a well enough mother for my son to be like, okay, I want a woman like my mother. and be like, I want a mother. You know.
I have a follow-up question. Speak about my Lord of
Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
my follow-up question is all of the requirements that you say you do for your meal friends or for your sons. Are you any of those things, or do you see any of those things in yourself?
I have seen any of things in myself necessarily. Necessarily, I don't. But I will say I try my best not to be. I try not to be too aggressive, not to be too, thing. Like I want to, I don't, even though I say I don't say it from, it's not like I'm a woman, so kind of way. I just understand that some of these ideals are not ideal. So I just stay away. Honeymoon style, honeymoon. Yeah, I do. Actually, I try my best. Yeah.
So you're a good catch. What you're saying is you're a good catch.
But I honestly, so every man I come across, they either have a girlfriend or life. Like, and it's not even that I go into none of it. So I'm an approach, and I said, tonight on the boat, this fellow chatted me up last year. He went tonight beside his wife and 3-year-old child. I was shocked. So I saw that child. I was like, excuse you. I don't child, but these are the things that they just come and then talking about top potential men they want to the street. I just like, and then I just see cheating. It's like, I wouldn't even touch me. I'm confused. How are they cheating? And then that's when you're like, to settle with, yeah, someone to agree to how that woman is crazy.
Well,
So when I think does happen, let me just give my younger perspective. And we from females to the time reach the edges. And what I find that happens after we become pushed, a lot more females are attracted to that. So if you probably take the time, apply a little push to whoever it is in whoever circumstance, you have been in a better position. I don't know.
I'm polishing them for someone is crazy. You see, I don't think you quite understand. And if women see a man in a stable relationship, healthy relationship, happy relationship, that is attractive to many women because women are attractive to stability. And a man who is married is stability. It doesn't matter if the man is, because outside women in the marriage. Just the man being married in surface is stability. It speaks to something. So it doesn't matter if you think the man ain't attractive or he ain't have. To most women, if he in a stable relationship, that is attractive because he have the ability to acquire and to hold a period of time.
Hotep, this is the point I was trying to make. How are these women looking at a man who is able to attract multiple women and saying he's obviously unattractive? That's not true. You don't understand. And the sad thing is, many women, here's the truth, Ronnie, and this is because I think many women are dishonest to themselves and to each other. Many women aren't even fully cognizant of what they might be attracted by because they don't say it out loud and make it obvious. And that's why women look at an attractive man who is obviously attracting women and can't see it. There's probably never a case where a woman is attracting men and men are wrong, don't understand why. They know why. It's either she's slack, she is sexy,
She loose. Some we know why. We could see. We could tell why. How do you mean the guy is attractive and you can't tell why? That tells that you're not understanding something in this case. You don't understand something about how it all works out. Because he's obviously an attractive guy to a certain contingent of women. Now, the stability point that you made, I was saying that earlier also. When you reach a certain age, Ronnie, you were saying that nearly all the men you see now. Wasn't that what I was saying? When you reach a certain age, if you are in your 30s and all the men you are looking for are over your age and they have to be stable-minded, sensible, yada, obviously most of those guys are going to be married. That's a given. Now, you might find someone who has some of the traits of marriage potential guy. So he's married, but he's also a waste man. So he's willing to have someone on the side. You can find those. It happens. As long as a man is respectable and can stimulate my mind, he is very attractive to me. Here now, Jackies. That's what I mean when I say y'all aren't fully honest. I know, yes, you would want a respectable man. Yes, you want someone to stimulate your mind. But that's not saying much. That really isn't saying much. What stimulate your mind in what way? How does someone stimulate your mind? And when you say respectable, what do you mean by respectable?
Just I don't to set me up on some dates. Like, let's do that. Let's set running up on dates. I am you. No, like, set me up. I'll go out.
I think me and you had discussions personally, and you know, it's funny stuff. I talk, and I think today's people in general are very reactionary, and women definitely hyper reactionary today, and they just react to things. And you see, this is the problem thing, because women don't want. You ask a woman, do you? They become stuck in that, but exactly don't want this. I don't want. Ask them what they do. They could list out that. And it's well,
like a total clock, like a total behind, like a total steam after maybe I'm talking. And if I say, if I want to be honest about what she really is, I will watch that woman. Oh my God, she's a terrible, she's a beer. Understand?
You are right to a certain extent. You are right to a certain extent. But the reason that is because women aren't honest about it in the first place. So if you are brutally honest about every single thing and how you are attracted and what works for you, men would watch you strange, yes, because men don't hear that from a woman. But here's the thing, many of those things are latently understood. Yeah, like so many women talk about like if these bad men are all waste men and they're so unattractive, how anybody. But the evidence shows something contrary. It shows that there is something there that obviously attracts women. Can we be honest enough to examine what it might be? And the thing is, if you're honest enough to examine some of those things, maybe it might work better in you choosing. Yeah, you could understand what might be a more important factor, what might be a less important factor. Most women want rich man. Well, yes. Every waste man have 3 child mother. A waste man has to generally be attractive. If you're a waste man and you're unattractive, you're a vagrant. Yeah, Hotep.
yeah, Ronnie, this is the thing. You see, I am not a, because as we can tell, I'm a man. So
How can we tell?
yeah, let me shout out. Again, yeah, so I listen. I want people in general to be brutally honest. So if women lay out the true list, the actual list of what they want, I don't think men supposed to watch women like they are men either have to shape up or shape out, right? Because that's what men have to do in order like that boy. You see, all the standards is the expectation is one thing. A woman, pure, realistic standard expectation. You know, hoopla. Either had to talk, you have no game.
Okay, let me say this, right? And I have it. I have said it quite a few times for the last few weeks. I've explained this to a few times, right? Women and young ladies, I hope you guys change the future. But women have the marketplace with cheap commodities so much that now one of any substance stand a chance, right? Like if I decide, I am this just a wait.
I'm listening.
I'm gonna just say if I am like, I'm this woman of substance, I feel like, well, if I feel like that, I don't know sure. Right? Okay, I am this person. I'm trying to be a woman of substance, let's call it that. If I with a guy, I meet a guy and I want to go, I am interested in this guy. By the time it's 2 times talk with my mom, if I not doing something, trying to be a bit loose, this guy is like, okay, cool, bye. If a guy asks me to be loose and I say, nah, that's not my speed, I don't feel comfortable, I want to, like, I'm not ready for that. Like, okay, bye, deuces. Because you know what? You 10 steps and find a woman that would do it, right? So it's like, it's difficult to keep interest, like, to keep a guy's interest in a way. And then that, I do probably just, then I can have just not been on the marketplace much. I tried to get back in the, it was contaminated, I come out again. I have no experience really, but honestly, in my observation from my token, I live on right, so obviously I don't have clocking me and checking, like dropping home. Like when I was in China, my father was there, to see who dropped me, talk like that, right? So I have anybody to really be watching like that man dropping you, man, like that. Is totally disrespectful. I don't like that kind of thing, like, so I have no idea. I do have the situation, I feel like it's too easy and it makes it difficult to,
All right.
I'm just looking at it different.
Here's how I see that, Ronnie. First part, 100% right. I do think with the sexual revolution, many women have flooded the market with cheap commodities. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. But here's the reality. The same thing I was saying. Those commodities are not available for all men. It's flooded for some. The reality.
They could get some Spanish one.
But you see, this comes from not understanding what men are attracted to. This comes from not understanding what men are attracted to. A woman who is still pure, in that sense, in a system that is flooded by cheap, her value goes up. And here's the thing. You're talking about ways to find which is the good and which is the bad. If you meet a guy who is so confident that he could walk out and find another cheap one around the corner, that he needs yours right now, then that's a guy who collects cheap commodities. He just excluded himself from you. You shouldn't be looking for the guy who collects cheap commodities, because then he's going to treat you like a cheap commodity.
And the thing is, that cheap commodity, as I keep saying, is not available to all men. There are some men racking up hundreds, and there are many men racking up their hands.
Like I said, I'm willing to go on a date. We'll go see.
And now, here, just a caveat on that before you jump in there. A caveat on that. And this is a thing you see really yes, really, Kremak. Go read the statistics on how many men under 30 are virgins or active. Go read that. But yeah, I got sidetracked for a little bit there. The really Nathan piece sidetracked me. But it is for real. There are many men out there that aren't playing that kind of playing thing, and many of these men may not even be at the kind of social standard to even ask you out. Like, if you're a woman and you only go out with the guys confident enough to ask you out, well, then you're eliminating all of the guys not confident enough. Some of those guys just aren't in that environment. That's why I say just the way we have developed this advanced modern culture has made many of those things difficult. You're meeting most people online now. So that's someone who is brave enough to jump in your DMs and someone whose profile is attractive enough to make you reply. That is limiting a certain group of people already. That's already Xing out a certain group of people. So what maybe some of you may want to find out is, where is the pool without the oil and the bad crab? Go find that pool.
Experience, I always carry a very serious disposition on work. If you're brave enough to show interest, you'll get a lot more respect from me. I always carry a resting military man face. A reason, because you could give me all the female indication. You could, I don't want my shoulder, you could rub my head, my face, with all, yeah, like a shoulder. Look how much I say, well, I really like your vibes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you may be surprised. You may be surprised. As someone was pointing about how much waste men have child mother and such and such and such. It is you may be surprised at what is attractive in certain cases. Like, I've heard the evolutionary psychology reason for waste men being so attractive is young women looking for the same protection and competence. It's easy to look at a waste man and his narcissistic arrogance and as it were, your biological impulses mistake it, as it were, for confident proficiency. And that is why, again, to go back with where we started, we used to have the pops and mums sit down and select those things because they have a bit of experience. They know that this guy is arrogant and narcissistic. That's not confidence. That's not capability. It's arrogance. It's narcissism. He is going to abuse your daughter, chase him far away. And you might be surprised you see the girl crying over that one. And you find a guy who is actually good at something and has ability, but he's a bit quiet or something. He's a bit reserved. He isn't the cool guy. He isn't the guy that makes good selfies. So she's like, nah. See you back at 35.
Today on Twitter X, I literally see people was talking about this tweet that was made that the woman, she's a teacher, she's an American teacher. Think about the American teacher's salary and pay, prestige. That woman literally said that nobody wants to be with a man who's a plumber. A plumber can't go to luncheons and dinners. It's not prestige enough because
And here's the problem with that hotel. Just so I'm running, the issue with that, with the prestige. Prestige, by and large, is a kind of relative thing. To an unemployed person, the plumber's job may actually be prestigious. So she finds it lacking prestige because she's a university educated professional. So she's looking for someone that is at the level of a university educated professional. And as women keep climbing that prestige ladder, whatever society deems prestige, generally it takes some doing to acquire it. That's whatever it might be. They want people at elevated levels of prestige. So what is going to happen if you already have your bad choosing abilities from when you used to choose waste men at 17, and now you're at 30 looking for better men than yourself, but you're still bad at choosing, and you must choose somebody and a bad husband?
That's crazy because treatment are being bad.
Yes, they are.
They are attractive because, you know, active, the lifting things, this working out, they look good. There's the prestige, you can't, you see, you can't. I don't mentions, and she don't go either. She just go play a teacher meeting, and that is it. She don't go to galas. I think some teachers do have dinners. Some teacher association do have dinners. And if there's other teachers, well, yeah, she is not meeting with any CEOs or any CFOs or nothing like that. It's the propagation of hyper, and I do agree with women being hyper, but I think I need to peg women at some level because they think that majority of history could have just jumped social classes to date no, your hyper stretch along the level, and who makes either significantly more than because obviously you were to time. So for let's say the average woman makes what, like a few thousand or 10K less than men. It's your hyper.
Right. And you know what ruined that Trini Hotep? The internet. The internet blew the social circle wide open. You only met the guys that surrounded you in your immediate circle, and you could choose the best one remaining out of them. Good luck. But now the internet is showing you men from far and wide, and they're all DMing you, and they all seem like they could give you a bad idea. You asked if I'm a tradesman. Of course I'm a tradesman. Positive radiation. I'm sure that today we were doing some contracting work up, well, for a while now. We're doing some work up on the east. I met a roti man because, you know, once you're doing trade, you must eat a nice roti at some point for lunch. I went and I met a roti man, and he said, you know, he watches some of the lives. I don't know if he's in tonight, but big up. So people see me all around doing trades, you know, in a little dirty jersey here and there. Yes, I am a tradesman, and trades have a lot of gain in it, but also one of the good things about trades is the skills often are the most transferable without needing a system backup. All right, so a plumber and a DEI executive, a woman who is in the HR department, she's head of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a plumber who is actually more useful in society. Well, obviously the plumber, but who might get paid more? Well, probably the DEI lady. What that means, though, is that should that society for some reason stumble, the system that created the hierarchy that allows DEI nonsense to be paid gets nothing. The plumber could go in just about any system, or basically any trade could go in just about any system and be successful, make money, be useful.
So yeah, trades are very useful. Men who are or act prestigious show a form of cockiness. I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. Well, I'm a jack of all trades. I think I mastered a few of them well, but I do contracting in general.
And that's true. Prestige is kind of relative, you know, the society, doctors, lawyers, engineers, STEM, and that's fine. Like women start that prestige. That's a tiny prestige, and it's a little club, and you're not welcome in it. You see, people think that just because men like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and men like that could have everyday wives, they don't understand. Men never get wives by the mere fact of being there. Those women got those men there what they come because where would they get the men from? This is not in the same circle as my they're not in the same social circle, same anything, same place. So just because the fact that Jeff Bezos' wife looked mid average, no, and got him when he was in her girl, by the way, working on my exactly. So the thing for me is that stop looking at what you think is I don't.
It's alleged. It's alleged.
It's alleged. Yeah, but is
Did she cheat on him?
possibly in a sense
Why must it be after?
exactly.
Cheating back is necessary.
Here's the understanding in this, and sorry for cutting you there, Trini Hotep, but just now, the understanding in this that is key. The understanding in this that is key. So, and this is the point that some of those red pill men try to make, and they go too far, in my opinion, but nonetheless, it's understanding things in perspective. Okay, men have higher sexual socializing. They want more partners. Naturally, it's inbuilt into men to want more partners. Cheating so happens to be the transgression of the marriage contract that men are most susceptible to. How come it is the worst transgression of the marriage contract? What is the transgression of the marriage contract that women might be most susceptible to? And why isn't that seen in the same gravity? Somehow cheating is seen as the worst possible thing. Why? Answer that. Why? Why is it seen as the worst possible thing?
I wouldn't say it's the worst possible thing, but I mean, biblically, if you're a Christian, because it's the only place for divorce in the Bible.
Let's not get into the theology, but many people would say no.
That's just my opinion. I cheated and so bad. I wouldn't even say like I would end my marriage. If I got married, you cheat and I discover fidelity, however, my first instinct is not just like going on to break up to get divorced, however. But it is something that
The reason I made that point though, Ronnie, is because like in the interaction we were talking about with Jeff Bezos there, the question is, did he cheat? And if he cheats, well, it's assumed, well, he was the bad one in this. How do you know that?
I never say you was.
I'm not saying you said that. I'm asking that as a rhetorical question out there. I'm not saying that's what you said necessarily, but that's what people treat it like. So we know if the man cheat, well, he was the bad one. Do you know that for sure? Do you know what might have been going on in the relationship? What if the wife wasn't putting out for 10 years? Was that worse? Would that be worse than cheating?
Just to finish there, I would answer.
I finish. Go ahead.
Say something.
Go ahead.
The Trini Hotep and consuming a lot of red pill content, I hate when men, like, it's their duty to, it's like the poison that nothing taking on, right? That's to try and bring down and just because we feel like they're on this high horse of delusion, where we could call it that. I think a lot of women are delusional. I don't see it as necessary for men to do that. You know, like,
Yeah, here's just now actually I want to was I know you're going to reply, but I want to jump in on that for a reason, Ronnie.
I'm just saying it coming from it kind of coming from some bitterness.
Yes, it is. For many men it is.
So it cringe.
When you listen to a lot of the red pill content, many of those guys are bitter. I have said this many times, and I tell women, if you meet a man who is obsessed with red pill stuff, you probably should run from him because there is a lot of bitterness inside there. Some of it comes from bitterness. But listen, let's not act like it's not human nature to want someone who thinks they're better than you to be knocked down a peg. That's not something strange. It's not misogynistic or anything like that. I didn't say you said that, but it's not anything like that. It's par for the course. Because imagine it like this. It's the same kind of attitude that many feminists go out there with also. Imagine it like this. You see, for the last couple decades, women have been going at a certain direction while insulting the men and putting them down in the week. And you see an opportunity now to watch this 35-year-old lady, after doing her dirty deeds for the last 15 years, to watch her and say, you're going to die alone with a cat. You have to have a lot of self-control to not feel good and do that. It's not strange to me. It's not a strange thing to me. It's like women who were actually held down and advantaged, they are happy when they see the systems that advantaged them get their due comeuppance. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing.
I used to take in red and not for the purposes of trying to increase my matrix level reality cleanse necessarily. I'm interested in people speak about general because it's interesting. People interested. But I've stopped listening to red pill content majority at the time because some of it was like, bro, that's already understood, and then some of it is rage, and I'm not on raging anyway. So, and I'm not on hating women anyway, and trying to, bash women at them. That's not me. You see, if I say knocking down a peg or giving them a reality check, it's the same thing necessarily because I'm not here to be bitter towards women per se, but I'm here to tell women the reality of life, any way you take it. And we all have to live in the reality. If women could tell men the reality of to be a man, be masculine in order to survive in the world, that's just it. If I had to tell women, they have to check themselves on their reality and not be delusional. If you get knocked down a few pegs because of Kevin's it's crazy. That's just it for me. Like, I'm not because of a particular thing. And anything I talk to people on a daily basis, and just at some point, men and women had to realize that delusional thinking that gender bias is supposed to kind of fluctuate the market or something, and they're supposed to want people that don't make any sense to me per se.
Yeah.
Live in reality.
We have to live together at the end of the day. That's one of the things I don't like about the red pill. It seems like it's attempting to create a kind of disunity. All right, there are bad women, there are bad men, but I don't want to look at my wife and treat my wife the way that they talk about treating like all women. That's not a healthy thing. Like some of those guys, they need to go to A therapist. Well, I kind of don't believe in therapy. The more and more I listen and read these days, probably go to a pastor or something and let him pray for that bitterness. Pray about the girl that broke your heart in Form 1 and see if you could get over it. As for watching red pill content, Trini Otep, I still watch real red pill content, and I take in a lot of red pill content. Part of my problem with it is I find a lot of it is repetitive. Like 90% is stuff everyone says over and over and over again. If you saw a couple hours, you saw most of it. But it's interesting to me to look at the opinions of random people. Red pill content is one of the easier ways to get randomized surveys of people. See how people think, what people say, real people, and a large number of them over a period of time. So it's interesting to observe. And I mean, to me, it's important to understand the mentality of people around you. And many young men their minds are being shaped by the red pill culture. If you look in the United States, the prevalence of conservative thinking is increasing among men. And, well, women were always liberal, but they're becoming much more liberal. So the conservatism of men, well, increasing, while the liberality of women is increasing, so you're having separation between the two. And that's some of that red pill content, I think. Hey, people, let me look to wrap up. So let me get your closing statements there, Ronnie. You look like you were going to talk. What are you going to say?
I just want to point out that I listen to red pill content as well. I find it to be like pleasant to some degree. I don't listen to Fresh and Fit. Those guys are morons. And they just parrot every single thing out of context that Agitate has ever said. They do not listen to context at all. But I listen to the red pill people. It's not like I do, but I am very keen on deciphering who is who and what is what. Bitterness and actually coming from a place of like, listen, woman, I really want all you to understand X, Y, Y, Z. I used to listen to Kevin Samuel. I liked him a lot. I listened to what kind of people? I even listened to this the one Sprinkle Break. I listened to she too. I like her content. I find that this video funny.
She kind of what?
And what?
She literally says something like about so I don't take it in she. You see, Cynthia G is a different, and I can't get jiggy with Sandry. See, if you pill kind of thing where you want divestment, I can listen. If you don't, pill babies, yeah,
I've never
maybe
that. You should send that to me. But
I don't even know who's that.
I listen to everybody. I listen to the red pill. I listen to the blue pill. I've never heard of pink pill, black pill. I have listened to those.
White pill?
There's a white pill.
Yeah.
There is.
Yes.
Is it like a kinky kind of white pill?
Think opposite of black pill. That's all it is. Opposite of black pill. People who are black pilled have no hope that things would work out. People who are white pilled say that it's going to work out.
Okay, so I should listen a little bit to that white pill then.
Maybe.
But yeah, I balance myself very well on these things. As I said, I'm not perfect. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's one in the world. Tata, but like,
So it's not 10? And everyone's supposed to say there's a 10?
That's crazy. Like, I listen to them, and I see some of these videos, like, babe, you're not even a sex. Like, you're not even a sex.
Adjustable. Is Kevin Samuel with the adjustable? Is adjustable 6 or adjustable 5?
adjustable 6, meaning they could go up 7.
Yeah.
At best, you're an adjustable 6 here now, boy. Jeez. Kevin, Samuel's was a brutal one. Yeah, Hotep, you have anything to say there, bro?
Yeah, man, I think this. I mean, white pill is that people can see from social media it is becoming strained on to hear this out Sandry or I think the people just want to in relationships that are self-sustained. I think people are trying to move away from the nonsense. So it is going to because anyway, humans find a way. No, I think it was created by a black. She was all out. It's a pro and with a woman. She was an investment, so she was interracial dating with black woman, white men. So it was all about divesting away toxic Blackistan community of black men. And I mean she no longer that she has reformed into healthy relationships that are helping them. So she has moved divestment portion of the thing and she's focusing on. See, so that's the pink pill.
Lots of mad people out there.
Yeah. So yeah. To me, it will balance eventually. Women, listen, I don't want to be single here. I don't want to be men. It's time to get my act together. Be like, listen, I want to get my in order. That woman, and eventually, because that's what humans. So I don't necessarily think that people who say that it's good to get old, say the black pillars of the bunch, because the black pillars, that pessimism is reeking and ranking through that, and I don't think it's necessarily that per se, because people who kind of get down to the thing of have to crash before it gets, the whole great reset kind of nonsense. So I believe in the scales kind of shifting. So if the scale kind of then the next side obviously some way stay again. So that's what I believe. So yeah, for that it's crazy. Mindful, mindless.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Politicians are mindless, and to believe they are mindless, there'll be some way in between sometimes. Mindful.
Yeah, positive. What's going on?
I think the conversation tonight is even though I like the mischief. That good one interactions with her. I know the Tobago, it's you and me, Tobago. They shall learn it sometime. It's Trinidad and Tobago at the end of the day. I always remember controversial statements, critical conversations. Right.
Good night. Good night to everyone. This has been the Mindful Live. I hope you're educated, informed, and entertained. I will see you guys for the next Mindful Live session, which is going to be Monday night. Until then, people, stay safe. Last week, we were supposed to have our first Mindful Education Live. Unfortunately, it didn't pull through. Hopefully, we will be doing it tomorrow, Saturday. If we're doing it, it's going to be on this TikTok account, but it would be on the Mindful Education Instagram account. So, I will see you guys the next time I see you guys. Until then, stay safe.